I know. Well, she has certain. Yeah. I'm holding myself together fairly well. And she's up because 2 of her children are coming into England this next month. And not even stay. Just gonna pick her up. It's almost 10 minutes. It's at least. Yeah, it's really comfortable. You ready? Let me put my glasses on here. Good morning. I'm Tom Chalkley, and I serve on the board of the DuPage Unitarian Universalist Church. I welcome everyone to our service this morning and welcome visitors to our open and inclusive community of faith. As Unitarian Universalists, we hold that there are many spiritual paths to truth and meaning, and we support one another as we each explore these paths. I would like to especially welcome our guests and welcome again those who have visited us before. Visitors, it is our custom in this congregation to invite you to stand and give your name and where you're from if you feel comfortable doing so. Are there any visitors who would like to introduce themselves? Okay. Welcome to everyone. Please join us after the service for coffee hour. We would love to have a chance to get to know you better. Our minister, Reverend Tom Capo, our congregational life coordinator, Mary Law, and all of our members are eager to greet each other. Please feel free to approach anyone with a green cup if you have a question, and you can ask that. Our service can be heard outside the glass doors at the back of the sanctuary. Should anyone feel the need to leave the service for any reason, there are chairs provided for your convenience. Inserts for other announcements, and please silence all electronic devices. Thank you. And now we have a special guest.
I don't know about special. You might be getting bored of looking at me already, but here I am again. Does anybody know what this slide means? It's a trick question. It's about the auction, surprise! So our auction this year is going to be November 4th. Now last week I asked who had been to our website, and just a few people raised their hands who's been to the website this week. Thank you, Martha. Lindy has also on the auction committee, has also been to the website. Thank you, Lindy. I hope to see a lot more hands next week. Please check out our new website. It's awesome. You can purchase your tickets online. You can donate all of your items online and find out everything you need to know about the auction. So I have a few special announcements about the auction. We're having our wine wall again this year. So last year we did the wine wall and we did a really not so great job at it. We're gonna do better this year. Karen Seymour Ells is running it for us. She is awesome. And we're asking people if you would like to purchase a $10 or more bottle of wine or beer or 6-pack of beer. You can do that and bring it in to Karen and donate it to her, or give the donation to her and just find her at coffee hour and she'll take care of that for you. So that's a great and really simple way to donate to the auction. If everything else seems a little too much, that's a great way and a great entry point for you. Tickets are on sale on the website, and starting with today's coffee hour, you can also find us down in Creeves Hall. Lindy will help you with your tickets online if you want to pay by cash or check, although we are encouraging everyone to go to the website and purchase on your own. It's so easy. And then we're also accepting item donations if you filled out your form. So anytime that's convenient to you, feel free to fill out that form and bring them into us. Last but not least, if you need the website someplace handy, you can find any member of the auction committee. That's me, Lindy, Kelly Huggins, or Anna Harcherick. We have that website handy on our phones. We can text it to you or email you a link so you have it right there personalized in your phone. The last thing I wanted to share with you is a quote from Doctor Who. So some people have said, Doctor Who, that's an interesting theme choice. And this quote I thought was so appropriate for UU and highlights why Doctor Who is such a great theme. The 11th Doctor said, "Nobody important? Blimey, that's amazing. Do you know, in 900 years of time and space, I've never met anyone who wasn't important." So come see us at the auction this year. Thank you.
Got a page missing.
Just appeared. So,
You could sit back.
how about I do it?
Okay.
We'd like to challenge this morning for our principle that calls us to accept one another, and to encourage one another to spiritual growth. There we go. Well, good morning. Good morning. I'm Reverend Tom Capo, the minister here at DuPage Unitarian Universalist Church. And today we're going to honor our elders through words, music, and ritual. Our Western culture doesn't have a way of honoring our elders, or often even acknowledging them. Western culture we live in focuses on youth, trying to stay young for as long as possible, and valuing the new and innovative. Yet, as Native American poet Tommy writes, we must honor our elders and care for them, for they have knowledge of 1,000 winds. So as we move into this time of honoring and gratitude, I want to offer some words to you from someone who has been through an honoring ritual at a retreat. Her name is Kathy Carmody, and she went to this Choosing Conscious Elderhood retreat in British Columbia in August of 2012. So here are her words. leaving behind my journey of struggling and racing through the white water of many rivers, I become the river, creating my own unique way. Leaving behind my self-imposed role as a tree upon which others have leaned, I now become the wind, with the freedom to blow whenever and wherever I choose. Leaving behind the boxes I've created in my life, crammed full of roles, responsibilities, rules, and fears, I become the wild and unpredictable space within which flowers sprout and grow. Leaving behind the years of yearning for others to see me as somebody, I soften into becoming my future, with permission from myself to continually unfold as I see fit, without concern for how others may see me. Leaving behind years of telling and teaching, I become instead a mirror into which others can peer and view reflections of themselves to consider. Leaving behind the urge to provide answers for others, I become the question. Leaving behind the rigor of my intellect, I become a single candle in the darkness, offering myself as a beacon for others to create their own path. I become an elder.
I invite you to rise in body or spirit and join me in saying our mission statement, which is printed in the order of service and also projected to your left. And please remain standing for our first hymn.
Please join us in our first hymn, just as long as I have room.
When I was growing up, we lived in two different Brooklyn family neighborhoods. No family I remember had a grandparent in the home with them. The only grandparent I knew was my mother's mother, Bessie Meltzner Bach, who lived in a residential hotel in Manhattan on West 72nd Street, across from the Dakota of later John Lennon fame. It was a 1-hour drive to my grandmother's from our home. The subway was out of the question. We went only for an occasional Jewish holiday or perhaps a monthly visit, so I didn't know my grandmother well. My several cousins lived within blocks of her and saw her often. I missed that. One day, we went to visit her because of a family birthday. We all went out to lunch walking from the hotel. I was about 15, and I wore a skirt, and for the first time, I wore new black suede, very high heels. Pointy toe, much like today's shoes. I walked alongside of her, accruing unsteadiness and a limp. She got ahead of me, and I had to ask her to please slow down. In her mid-60s, she got a huge kick out of that request, and now I know why. I'm a grandmother to 7 kids, ranging from 22 to 31, and I ask them to slow down. I have, I know, a closer relationship to my grandchildren, even the ones that grew up on the West Coast, than my grandmother had with me. My grandkids tease me. We laugh when we talk together. They are honest with me, though polite, and they feel my interest in them. They seem glad to see me. I feel respected. I am visible to them, and I am heard. A bonus, sometimes I know they are proud of me, and I hold them as the sun and the moon, a grandparent's privilege. They know about some of what I find challenging at 82. They know I appreciate and have lived by the Meister Eckhart quote, "When the soul wishes to have an experience of herself," and I always emphasize the her, "she creates an image of that experience and then steps into it." What they don't know yet is what I am newly discovering. It's getting harder for me to find the image that feels right about aging, my aging. Like, for instance, where do I live as I am aging? Do we remain in the house I love and want to stay in a while longer? On a quiet tree-lined street surrounded by good neighbors? A house getting harder to maintain, requiring services we pay for, and the house too big for us now, but a house I don't want to leave? Or do we go somewhere else, a retirement community where many elders live, a place I doubt I want to be in, though it would in many ways be simpler? Our daughters who love us dearly keep reminding us how much safer that would be, what with help always at the ready, though help is not needed now. Adaptation. Is there any adventure ahead? Some of you may remember that in 1999, I took a 6-week road trip in a Road Trek camper van to Puget Sound and back, accompanied only by our black lab, Buddy. Tom was not with me, just Buddy. Doing this was the fulfillment of a 2-year dream, images I saw, living from the words of Meister Eckhart. I saw it ahead of time as an adventure. I later came to know it was also a pilgrimage. I found I could really make my own way in the wider world. I still seek adventure. I still want more opening into the world, experiences of the unknown in which I test myself. I am simply not done yet. The challenge right now is balancing adventure with adaptation, balancing the excitement of possibilities which still hold me with the reality of limitations, including an increased sense of vulnerability. When I describe myself in a mode of operation way, I say, I experience myself as walking an unknown path. It's getting dark. I am holding a flashlight with a strong beam. which I use to illuminate the path right in front and to the sides of me, so that I know where to put my next footfall. That's as far as I need to see. I trust and rely on my abilities to read clues, and later, when I need to, I plan. Right now, I stay put, gladly. Gladly. I cannot see what's next, although I earnestly shine my flashlight and remain alert to what I recognize as signposts. I don't see a map, but I have come to know the territory very well. It's my way of living. It's the legacy I am handing down to my descendants. I will live as truthfully as I can and remain open to what shows up and points me. It's my way. It's who I am.
Where my free spirit onward leads, well, there shall be my way. By my own light illumined, I've journeyed night and day. My age a time-worn cloak I wear, as once I wore my youth. I celebrate life's mystery, I celebrate death's truth. The ever-spinning universe, well, there shall be my home. I sing and spin within it, as through this life I roam. Eternity is hard to ken, and harder still is this. A human life, when truly seen, is briefer than a kiss.
During this time of prayer or meditation, I will be inviting you on a journey. I'll be asking you to review the timeline of your life, considering how you became who you are today, and considering what your legacy might be as you grow older. So I invite you now into that space of prayer or meditation or reflection. You might sit up straight, take a deep, slow breath, ground yourself, perhaps put your feet flat, let your eyelids rest or close. Turn your attention inside yourself. Be present. Notice what is going on within you right now. The sensations of your body, the thoughts running through your mind, the emotions flowing through your heart. And breathe. Breathe easily, comfortably, feeling the air come in and go out of your body. Before you, there are two paths. One path is to the past, and one path is to the future. In the past are the experiences you've had and the meaning that you have made of them, resulting in the person that you are today. In the future. The future are your aspirations, your hopes, your potentials. But I ask you now, as you look in front of you, to take the path into your past. Step easily and comfortably on that path. Immerse yourself in the moments that have defined who you are today. Perhaps you had mentors, elders, guides who helped you along the way. Allow their faces, their names, perhaps the sound of their voices, to drift gently through your conscious thought. Now gently step backward on the path until you come to that point where the two paths are in front of you once more. The present. Feel your body, the air moving in and out of your lungs as you breathe. And I invite you to step onto the path that leads to the future. Notice your hopes, dreams, your aspirations. Notice your priorities. Step a little further. Move into that time of diminishing physical and psychological abilities. Allow yourself to play with the different potentials lining the path before you. Some of them glittering with possibilities, others darker, harder to see. Allow your gaze to slide over the potentials that come into view. Now step back. Come back to that place where you see the two paths before you. The present. And know that with each day that you live, you leave a legacy. You leave the knowledge of 1,000 winds. We are each someone's candle in the darkness, offering a beacon for others. Come back to your body. Feel the air moving in and out of your lungs as you breathe. Feel your feet on the floor. Feel the chair against your back. Take one more deep, slow breath and open your eyes and be present here and now. Now, we are going to honor those who would like to be honored as elders in this community. This is a Sarah celebration. This is a celebration of elderhood. The Sarah celebration is patterned after the Dutch tradition, and it includes elements of the secular kroning ceremony and the Jewish eldering ceremony, and is tailored to be a Unitarian Universalist expression of the celebration of gifts, of the many gifts of being an elder in this community. Its theme is wisdom and thanksgiving. If you consider yourself an elder and would like to participate in this ritual celebration, I invite you to please come forward. As you do, please go to Edna here. She has something for you, a cloth that you'll attach to your clothing or around your neck, wherever you like. And just come around this way after you get your cloth. Excuse me. Keep going down. And we do actually have other people in the congregation? No, just kidding. Here, go down a little bit. Just get everybody up there. Not.
This is what the dogs get when they get a bath.
Welcome. Beloved elders, you have come before us this morning so we, as a congregation, may honor you. I ask you if you would turn around and read the following statement of intention for us all to respond to. Everyone else? We are willing. Okay. In ancient days, our ancestors knew that living meant changing. They gazed upon the skies and saw the moon rise, first as new, then as full, then drawing down into dark. They marked the circles the path of the sun and crossed the unmarked deserts and seas guided by circling stars. As above, so below, they honored the rites of passage among their kin, who passed the milestones of life, rites to honor birthing, coming of age, marriage, and elderhood. Honored were the elders, those who held the wisdom of the people. They were the teachers, the healers, the diplomats, the chieftains and priests. It was they who cared for and blessed the dying. It was they who showed in their living and their dying that all life continued on, and that death was not to be feared. Much of the power, recognition, and honor once given to older persons has been lost over time, and today older people are almost invisible in our society. We are gathered here to mark the passage of our elders into this new stage of life and to acknowledge that we honor and respect all of our elders and recognize their many gifts to us. Edna, would you please? What I would ask of each of you, if you would, is to say your name, and if you wish, share one legacy that you would like to pass on.
I'm Louise Schuster, and I just like for this church to keep on doing what the church has been doing and even more of it from now on.
Okay.
Tom Chalkley, ditto.
There you go.
I'm Bev Cable-Becker, and I guess resilience.
Resilience, good.
Joanne Kennedy, compassion.
Jean McCullum, solar energy.
Dorothy Stevens, sharing.
Robert Strachey, mental health awareness.
Bill Kovacs, our men's group here.
Agnes Kovacs, loving and caring for the earth.
Gene Atkin, all forms of social justice.
There's a lot to say here. My name's Carolyn Atkin, pastoral ministry.
Carolyn Drake, sharing.
Barbara Sherman, forgiveness.
Tina Lynn Muley, acceptance.
Well, this is my first time that I'm able to say a few words here.
Who are you?
My name is Martin Liebert. I'm from Countryside, Illinois. My wish is to see my granddaughters into college. I hope to stay around to see this.
Pat Carson, love for everybody.
Bob Barry, compassion for all.
Pat Clancy, I'll echo what Agnes said, loving and caring for the earth.
Ruth Schoenfeld, this too shall pass, and I hope we can help it along.
Sue Gately, a peaceful world.
Sue Ross, a sense of curiosity and continuous learning.
Edna Groves, my legacy to my descendants, my daughters and their children, is my open-heartedness.
Everyone, please bring up the next slide. Please join me in the following reading. Thank you for sharing your wisdom with us. We are honored to celebrate this stage of life with you, and by your sharing, we will better know our own lives. Entering this stage requires that you acknowledge that aspects of your life are diminishing. There are losses that age imposes. Your scars represent those losses. Oh, thank you. In just a moment, there will be a slide to come up that I'd ask you to read. But before you do, I invite you to take a moment to reflect on the losses that you may be experiencing. And as you reflect on them, then place them on the table here. So place after you reflect on them, place your cloth on the table. Okay? After you have laid your cloth on the table, I'll ask us for you all to read this. Okay. Okay, go ahead. But even as you lay down things, there are things that you take up at this stage in your life. Edna, if you will help me give each person a rose. Rose will represent the things that you take up. Woo! There we are.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Now I invite you to turn around and read up this long quote here. When children are dedicated in this church, we offer them a rosebud. The rosebud has yet to blossom, symbolizing the potential that will someday flower into being. The stem of the rose has thorns, as does life. We covenant with the children that we will walk beside them as they experience the many thorns of life. You, who are elders, have experienced many of the thorns of life already. You are now in full and glorious bloom. May this rose, symbol of the richness of your life experiences, remind you that every day you live, you leave a legacy. You have become the wild and unpredictable space within which flowers sprout and grow. We are honored to walk with you. Everyone, would you join me in our last We will walk beside you in these elder years. We will offer you our support as you face your losses. We will rejoice in your wisdom, and we thank you for what you offer us by your presence in this community. Thank you. You may be seated.
The offering is a sacrament of the Free Church. It is supported by the voluntary generosity of all who join with us. The offering will now be given and received in grateful appreciation of our shared hopes and values.
Oh, don't forget this. Wrinkles mean you laughed, gray hair means you cared, and scars mean you lived. I don't know who wrote this. I couldn't find it. but I really resonate with it. You see, I am moving in that direction of becoming an elder. Some of you may have heard my laugh, a laugh that is deep and heartfelt, a laugh I used to suppress, but one that, as my heart opened fully, couldn't help but boom out with pure joy. As you see, my beard is gray. It has been for some time, but I notice it's also growing upward. Your gray is growing upward this direction. It's not you. You're not turning me gray. It's just that I care deeply for you, for my love, my family and friends. I love you down to the roots of my hair, however little I have left at the moment. And I have scars. Not to gross you out, but I had my toes cut off. They're sewed back on, so they're still there. I had meniscus surgery. I have a hole in my abdomen where they went in and fixed my intestine. And I, like you, have scars on my heart. I know all the scars intimately. I have memories, stories of how each of those scars came into being. And yet, also like you, just as long as I have breath, I will answer yes to life, to truth, to love. It's part of what it means as you become an elder, to embrace life, to show love deeply, and have stories, experiences, wisdom to share. On the third Thursday of the month, each month, except during the summer, we have here a conscious aging group. I've learned so much about aging from the people who gather in this group. They share many of their personal journeys about what aging means to them. Last Thursday night, we watched a film by Atul Gawande, author of the book Living Mortal. The press release of this book goes something like, "Medicine has triumphed in modern times, transforming birth, injury, and infectious disease from harrowing to manageable. But in the inevitable condition of aging and death, the goals of medicine seem too frequently to run counter to the interests of the human spirit. Nursing homes, preoccupied with safety, pin patients to railed beds and wheelchairs. Hospitals isolate the dying, checking for vital signs long after the goals of cure have become moot. And doctors, committed to extending life, continue to carry out devastating procedures that in the end only extend suffering." Gawande addresses his professional ultimate limitation, arguing that the quality of life is the desired goal for patients and their families. Quality of life, not the extension of life. As we in the Conscious Aging group watched Gwande's video, we heard that the young, or those who perceive themselves to be young, or who have what he calls a young signature, these folks focus on growing social networks. Their desires focus on achievement, acquiring recognition, dreams of the future. An elder either physically or psychologically, an elder has a different signature. Elders want smaller social networks, narrower relationships of numbers of people, but deeper relationships, more intimate relationships. They're less concerned with acquisition and more concerned with simply being. They also want to make a difference in the lives of those people to whom they are connected. You heard that a little bit today as we did our ritual. And elders feel poignancy, a feeling that many young people with young signatures, don't possess. Poignancy is being able to feel positive and negative emotions about the same situation at the same time. In addition, elders experience more happiness as they age, even though they have more health problems, limitations, disabilities, losses. Gandhi reports that people are less likely to be depressed and anxious at 70 than they are at 40. Our conscious aging group was asked to consider the questions that Gandhi feels are most important for us to be asking of people who are elders. Important questions like, what's your understanding of your health? What are your fears and worries for the future? What are your goals if your health starts to worsen? What trade-offs are you willing to make and not willing to make if your health worsens? What would be your priorities beyond just being alive when your health worsens? He says these are important questions, quality of life questions, spirit questions that we should all consider, even if we embrace a young signature. But know that your answers at 40 will be different than your answers at 24. And your answers at 60 will be different from your answers at 80. At each stage, you'll be leaving the boxes you've created in your life that are crammed with roles and responsibility, rules and fears, and creating your own unique way. Most people, as they become older, more frail, more limited, even more ill, want autonomy. They don't want the restrictions that often come from an extension of their life or protecting them from harm. However, adult children, doctors, hospitals, nursing homes want to extend a beloved elder's life and protect them from harm, no matter what restrictions might be put on that person as a result. Wani believes it is important to talk about quality of life, not the extension of life. And the thing is that if you really talk with people about that and the quality of their life gets better, it generally results in longer and happier lives. He tells the story of a very ill elderly man in a hospital who was on a pureed diet. I don't know if you've ever had a pureed diet. He hates it. And he steals and hoards cookies. The staff of the hospital doesn't want him to have the cookies because he might choke on them. And he's just miserable. Wani says, just give him the damn cookies. Let him have a life of quality and enjoyment. That's what's more important. We must honor our elders and care for them in the way they would want to be cared for. For they have the knowledge of 1,000 winds. And those winds can sing 1,000 songs if we have the ears to hear their knowledge and their experiences and their wisdom. Our elders can offer themselves as a beacon for others to create their own paths if we just open our eyes to see the lights that they're shining. And so I end with this quote. For all of us, because we are all aging. It's from Ashton Applewhite, an activist and writer. And she says, "The sooner growing old is stripped of reflective dread, the better equipped we are to benefit from the countless ways in which it can enrich us all." Namaste. Oh, it's me. Sorry about that. As we extinguish our chalice, again, let us hold in our hearts our third principle, acceptance of one another and encouragement to spiritual growth in our congregations. So I ask you to rise now and let us sing hymn number 18 in the gray hymnal, What Wondrous Love, and the words we projected to your left. Geriatric doctor Bill Thomas wrote, "We're taught that aging is all about decline. In truth, it's about change. We taste the sweetness of aging when we choose its meaning." So my friends, as you leave our time together, go forward making meaning of your aging. Then too, you can taste its sweetness. Now, as you go out, the pastoral ministers have something for you, so please stop by and talk to them briefly. But now, turn around and greet those around you. Let us share the love of this community with one another. They're gonna